Hey guys, so in this video, you're going to learn about a very important and useful coding concept, the if-else statement. So what is the if-else statement? It's a statement that lets us run a certain function or command only if a certain statement is true. Do you remember comparison operators and booleans from the previous videos? We're going to use those here. Here's an example of the if statement. Let's say I have two variables. A is equal to 16 and B is equal to 13. My goal for the program now is that if A is greater than B, then Python will print the message A is greater. So I would write if A is greater than B, print A is greater. This code basically says that if a statement is true, then print out the statement. In this case, the statement A is greater than B is true. So, when I run this code, the statement A is greater is printed out. As you can see, we've used a boolean and a comparison operator in the statement A is greater than B. Now let's say if A and B are equal, I want to print the message they are equal. And if they aren't equal, then I want to print this message not equal. So I would write if A is equal to B, print they are equal. Else, print not equal. This is a good example of the if-else statement. In this case, the statement A is equal to B is not true. So guess what the output would be? It would be not equal. In this example, we actually said, if a certain statement is true, print they are equal, and if it's false, print not equal. This is actually a boolean because it only runs on the command if the statement is true. If the statement is false, it runs a different command. And booleans are basically true or false. The if-else statement really depends on the boolean. The example also shows the use of a comparison operator equal to. We can use all the different comparison operators for the if-else statement. For example, we could also say that if A is greater than B, print A is greater or equal to B. Else, print A is less than B. In this case, greater than or equal to is the comparison operator. This would work the same way for all other comparison operators. Don't comparison operators and booleans make a lot more sense now? Hey guys, so in this video, you're going to learn the actual syntax for the if-else statement. By now, you may have gotten a gist of the if-else statement format. The syntax, or format, looks something like this. If, test expression, body of if, else, the body of else. In the body of if, you would put a print function or something you want the computer to carry out only if the statement is true. And in the body of else, you'd put what you want the computer to carry out if the statement is false. There are some technicalities to be careful of in the syntax. First, always remember to put a colon after the if condition and after the else. You will get an error if you don't. Second, it's super important to remember to have proper indentation in the if-else statement. If you don't indent properly, you will again get an error. An indent is a big space or tab before the statement to be carried out. Usually, your computer should take care of the indentation for you if you put a colon. But always make sure that there is an indentation before the body of if and the body of else, like this. In the syntax, you can see that there is a colon after the if and else conditions and an indentation before the bodies of if and else. Now that you know how to use the if-else statement, try the activity on the next article. So we were learning about the if-else statement and how to tell the computer if something is true, do this, else, do that. But what if I have more than one condition to be met? What if I want to write a code that does this? If the condition A is greater than B is true, it prints greater. If the condition A is equal to B is true, it prints equal. Otherwise, it prints less. We can use the elif statement to do this. Elif is just short for else if. The elif statement comes under the if, and it can be used in the same command to add more conditions. So in this case, I could write the following code. If A is greater than B, print greater. Elif A is equal to B, print equal. Else, print less. You can add as many elifs and conditions as you want inside the code. Here, I just used one elif. As you can see, the elif has to come after the if and before the else. That means that your statement always needs to begin with an if and end with an else statement. This is the syntax for the elif statement. If test expression, write the statement, elif test expression, write the statement, and so on. Notice that you must use colons and indentations with the elif statement as well. Now there is a challenge activity for you to try out with the elif statement in the next article. It's only a bit of a challenge because I won't guide you through the whole thing, but you can do it. Now we're going to learn about the last topic of this course, loops. In this course, we're going to learn about the for loop. Loops are exactly what they sound like. You state a specific condition for which you want Python to keep looping through until it has been met. You can loop through a string, a range of numbers, and even a list using a for loop. We haven't learned about lists, so we're not going to worry about that. But we are going to learn about how to loop through strings and a range of numbers. So, this is the syntax for the for loop. For value in sequence body of the loop. In the syntax, the sequence can be a string, a list, or a range. The sequence is the thing that you want to loop through. The value is just the current number, character, or thing that is being looped through. The value is a variable of your choice. In the body, you write the command that you want to be carried out for the value. You could say print value, which would print every number in the range or every character in the string. You could even write other things in the body of the loop. Remember that even in loops, you need to put a colon after the first line of code and put an indentation before the body of the loop. If you forget to use a colon right after the sequence or an indentation right before the body of the loop, it will cause an error. An example is that I could say for x in fruit, print x. Here, fruit is a variable with a string stored in it, and x is the current character of the string fruit. In this example, Python is looping through each character in the string and printing each one out. One of the best ways to understand for loops is to see examples and do them yourselves. So, in the next few videos, I'm going to show you examples of looping through strings and a range of numbers. You're welcome to try these examples with the videos. Believe me, for loops will make more sense once you're done with the examples. Hey guys, in this activity, we're going to write a program to loop through the string hello, and we're going to print out each character of the string. So, we're going to create a new file in Visual Studio Code, and then save that file and name it loops.py. Then, we're going to create a variable to store the string hello in. So, create a variable called my_string and assign it the value hello. Now, to loop through my_string, we're going to use the for loop syntax from the previous video. In this case, our sequence is what we want to loop through, which is the variable my_string. The value can be any variable to store each character in. Let's say that the variable name of the values is C. And the body of the loop will be print C because we want to print each character of the string that we loop through. So we're going to write for C in my_string print C. So in this code, C is going to be each character of the string hello, and as we loop through each character of the string, Python will print it out. So when we run this code, you can see that the output is each character of the string hello printed out on a separate line. This is how you can loop through each character of a string. Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to loop through a range of numbers. Looping through a range of numbers is basically specifying a range of numbers you want to loop through, such as 2 and 11 or 5 and 23. Python loops through each number between 2 and 11 or 5 and 23. When you want to loop through a range of numbers, you follow the same for loop syntax, except that the sequence would be range, first number, comma second number. So the syntax would look like this. For I in range, open brackets, first number, comma second number, close brackets, colon, and then put the body of the loop in the next line. Here, I is just a variable that represents each number you are looping through. And the first and second numbers basically define the starting and ending numbers that you want to loop through. Python will loop through all the numbers from the first to the second number, but the second number is not included. So if my numbers were 2 and 11, Python would loop through 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on until 10, but it would not include 11. So let's do an activity looping through a range of numbers. So far, we've only printed out the values that we have looped through. We've never done anything else in the body of the loop. In this activity, we will loop through all the numbers from 1 to 10, and then, in the body of the loop, we will add all these numbers together and store the sum in a variable. Then, we will print out that sum at the end. So first, we will create the variable that we want to store the sum of all these numbers in. Let's call that variable sum and assign it the value 0 for now. At the end of the loop, we want the value of sum to be like this: 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and so on until 10. Now let's loop through all the numbers from 1 to 10. Remember that when we write range, first number, comma second number, the second number is not included in the loop. So, in order to loop from the numbers 1 to 10, 10 included, we will write range, and in the brackets, 1, comma 11. Now, 11 won't be included, but 10 will. So the code to loop through the numbers would be for I in range, in brackets, 1, comma 11, colon, Now in the body of the loop, we will need to add each number that we loop through to the sum. So in the body of the loop, we'll write sum is equal to sum plus I. Take some time to think about it if you want. Do you see what we did there? We added the current number to the sum and assigned the value as the new sum. Now we want to print out the sum. Make sure to exit the for loop before you print out the sum, because you only want to print out the sum at the end, when it is done looping through all the numbers. So we will print out the sum by writing print sum. Make sure that there is no indentation behind print sum, because that would mean that you are still inside the for loop. Now, when we run this code, you can see that the output is 55, which is the sum of all the numbers from 1 to 10. That's how you can use for loops to loop through a range of numbers. That's it for for loops.